Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Kissy. So today I thought I'd do a different vibe, a different scene in terms of the readings. And before I even start the reading, if I even get to do the reading, because I took out these, actually I didn't, my son took out these 4 crystals. He just brought them over to me, and I saw the 4 elements here. So we can go ahead and do probably a reading for the 4 elements through these crystals, or I'll let you pick one of 4. If you pick this one, this will be your reading. If you pick this will be your reading, and so on. Right? We could do that. But before we do that, I hope you don't mind the noise in the background. I hope it's not too loud. My son is watching a movie, and it's interesting. So interesting in the sense the message, like when I was getting ready to do the reading, it's Super Mario Brothers. He's in the Coliseum fighting Donkey Kong. So I think that's a message. The name Mario could be significant. Rome could be significant. Some kind of like a David and Goliath kind of energy is showing up in that way, like a duel, and that's just based on that little scene. Donkey Kong says, "I let him win. I let him win just for the record, FYI." So that someone could be saying that, I let him win just for the record. Like somebody could be taking loss not well. So you know how they say like you're a bad loser kind of thing? Okay, so somebody could be a bad loser. Regardless of that, I wanted to have a conversation. And I think this is a perfect time for the conversation. I wanted to address a few things that I've picked up on here and there in passing conversations that I want to speak on. I don't always speak on things based on, just to share my opinion in a way, because I feel like opinions are like a-holes. Everybody has one. So, who cares kind of vibe. But, for some reason, these concerns, and I guess maybe the moon in Libra makes it more pertinent to discuss, right? So what I did want to discuss was a few topics of conversation I've been listening to. But it's not so much the topics, it's what I've learned from listening to these things. And it always brings me right back to my spiritual journey. And I guess it's a perfect opportunity to discuss relationship dynamics, like a real conversation about relationships. And maybe sharing some of my stories might benefit in terms of having a real connection with someone. One thing I've noticed is I could honestly say that very quickly do connections that seem to be based in love turn to conditional connections, or connections that are based on need and dependency. So let's rule the world. When you grow up in a codependent environment because you don't know better, or you engage in a codependent way because you think it's the way to be. Oh, we're supposed to love each other, we're supposed to be connected, we're supposed to care about each other, we're supposed to help each other, we're supposed to work together, we're supposed to, you're supposed to count on me, you're supposed to depend on me, and and I'm supposed to depend on you, like nurse each other to wellness, or kind of be together in the bad times, like that struggle life, or that kind of energy. Not to say that it was verbalized, but it was just kind of like a way of doing things where it's like we're a family, we stick together, we're, we support each other, we love each other. Like, you grow up with those values, but you quickly realize that those values are in word only for the most part. Not with everyone, of course. And maybe even not so much, maybe even, it's not that not with everyone, but people have some people can act in the same way in different areas in your life. So while one person could be codependent with you emotionally, another could be codependent with you mentally, another could be codependent on you physically, on what you can do. So, those dynamics. And if you go into it because, it's like you think, oh, we're supposed to help each other. So you help. And then you realize whenever you need help, nobody wants to help. So then you learn to do it for yourself. You're like, well, I can't ask you to help me, so let me do it myself. The more independent you become from codependency, the more you realize that it's a one-sided situation throughout your connections, because you were conditioned to believe that support, assistance and support and helping and giving and doing and showing love in an active, very, very tangible way. This might not be you, this could be you, this if it resonates, I hope. But maybe it's just general conversation that is understandable. It doesn't seem, though, that it's always understandable. Because what seems to me like a very normal conversation usually leads to debates, usually leads to arguments, usually leads to full-blown hate crimes, if you want to put it that way. And they actually do. I've seen it. I've lived it. I've experienced it. It's not pretty. It's not nice. It's very, very ignorant. It's very malicious. It's to me, it's like, does the logical brain actually shut down when people get emotional? I can say, I was one that was like, my emotions would like turn on in an instant. Like, you could look at me with disappointment and I would cry. I was very extremely sensitive emotionally most of my life. And it wasn't until being jaded in relationships and like kind of seeing, obviously you start to see the patterns, right? Because people would think like, oh, you could have seen it sooner. You could have seen, the signs sooner. Well, it's not like that. It comes in phases and it comes in layers. In other words, as you're growing out of codependency, so to speak, meaning as you disassociate yourself from dynamics that are no longer serving you in a positive way, what you realize is that you can get out of, let's say, a dynamic that's neglectful. So with this person, you get out of a neglectful dynamic with this one person, and then you end up meeting someone else that won't treat you neglectful, but they'll treat you disrespectful with their words. So it's like you overcome one level of codependency, and by codependency I mean like attaching to a person that doesn't treat you the way you treat them or the way you think you're supposed to be treated. You know how they say treat people the way you want to be treated. So if you follow that golden rule, but you're surrounded with people that don't follow that rule, you're subjected to being the only one in the game playing by the rules, and everybody else plays, is cheating. And it's like, okay, so everybody here cheats and everybody here knows that they cheat, and everybody in this cheating game don't tell on each other, and they're always conniving with one another, and you're thinking you're playing an honest game, so you're not planning on cheating, or you're not coming up with strategies to cheat, and you're not doing things to because to you it's not even a game to relate to these people in a genuine way. But they go into a connection, a relationship with the mindset of playing a game. So that's where, when the rose-colored glasses come off, and you realize, wow, oh, so people are not honorable with their words. Oh, so people flat out lie and actually assume that people like they hope, or they expect, I would say they expect for you to not say something, because it's like they expect that the confrontation is too challenging to bring up. Because the problem is, it is challenging to bring up, because a conversation I was hearing earlier was, exactly that, where you bring it up, a person with no integrity, let's just, for argument's sake, they actually slap you. You feel it, you saw it, you're both there. There's no witnesses, just you and this person. Outright slap you in your face. And you're like, what the fuck? You slapped me. They'll and what? I don't give a shit, right? They could be like, because you're alone. They'll acknowledge it and all of that. The minute there's someone else in there, or that they have to justify it outside, or that they have to confront it outside of this little secret dynamic, because it's only you and them that knows that this is the true them. The minute you walk out that door and there's other people, you can bring up the same conversation. Let's talk about that slap. What slap? I don't know what slap you're talking about. What? How dare you? Oh my God, how dare you accuse me of doing such a thing? Oh, I can't believe, the dramatics and all the ways that they do it. Or, oh my God, you crazy psychopath. All the accusations, all the bullshit. So that would be a perfect example. Now, in this sense, that was a very obvious example. But imagine they do something underhanded, but they still know that like a lie that you can sense, you can feel it. You're like, you're lying because I know you. You're lying because I know how you act. Or you're lying because I saw how jumpy you became. Something that isn't tangible, something that isn't obvious that they did, but they know that they know that they did it. That is what drives you insane, when you try to get them to prove that they were lying, because they know that you know, and you know that they know. You can't lie between two spirits. Like the truth is there. The only thing you can do is pretend not to see it. And the other something else that I did hear, and it was what this one guy said. How did he say it? It was so beautifully said too. He said, you're looking for proof of life in another. And that's what truth means. Like, validate that what I'm saying is true, because it's true. Like imagine little kids, siblings. You took my candy. I saw you eat it. Admit that you took it. Admit it. Just say it. And the person could have been like literally eating the candy in front of you with the wrapper in their hand and chewing on it and laughing in your face, like, so what? I ate it, ha ha ha, and eat it in your face with all the all the arrogance in the world. And as soon as mommy or daddy come to the room, they pretend they don't know what's going on. They act like the victim. That's the dynamic most people don't freaking grow out of. Most people don't grow out of. Imagine growing out of that shit as a child and observing the adults around you doing the same thing. You call out an adult on some bullshit to another adult, and that adult will pretend that they don't see it, or that they don't know it's happening. Or you tell the adult, hey, this is what's going on with this adult. But because it's the adult, they'll listen to the adult and not the child. It's the same thing. They play on that shit in your romantic relationships. They play on that shit in your friendships. They play on that shit in your jobs. People do this to you. People act this way because who's in these jobs? It's people. People are everywhere, and you have to interact with people. It's the people that you go make a payment for your utilities if you go in person for whatever reason, and they'll give you attitude because they hate their job. And it's like, You call them out, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about, ma'am. Just make your payment. Like, let's just ignore that I was a rude piece of shit and go ahead and let's just, you're overreacting. And they do this shit, and then you look like the crazy psychopath because you're like, how dare you? Like, the audacity. It's the audacity that people think. I'll give you another example of stupid ass people. I had this one lady. Oh, why did I get so grumpy there? I had this one. Excuse me, let me talk like my lady voice. I know I could be very abrasive, right? Okay, that's better. Thank you. So one time I was at the library. This was maybe a year ago or whatever it was. And my son he's a Libra. I'm a Libra rising, and he's a Libra. So a lot of what I had to deal with growing up, or a lot of the ways that I had to kind of grow out of, I see him, doing shit, because the Libra soul is very loving. It's very, very, genuine in that kind of love until it gets jaded, and then it gets whatever. Let's not go there. But anywho, my son went through a little phase when everyone that he saw that he appreciated or that he thought was, very, that was, that he looked at like a teacher or an authority figure, like at school, he was very kind to the teachers, so he got conditioned to be applauded for by the teachers and staff for being so loving, so sweet, so kind. So the teachers, you know how teachers are, they'll hug him, oh, good morning, and they hug him, and they commend him for being so sweet. So to him, that became part of his identity in a little way. And so we're at the library, and I approach a lady, and I'm going to say this because I don't know if it makes a difference, but it was a she-he kind of person where it was difficult to tell, are you this or that, because I don't know, and I don't want to be rude and ask you. But okay, we'll go with you're a she that wants to project being a he. Okay, cool. All right. So Miss Ma'am, Mr. Ma'am, whatever. I don't address them by that. I was just like, it was more clear that it was a female. It was an obvious female that was trying to be more masculine. None of that is relevant, but in terms of what occurred, I think it actually is. Meaning that it wasn't relevant to me at the time that it was occurring. It's relevant now explaining it and the psychology behind the shit. And I know it sounds crazy, but whatever. So my son, very sweetly, she's at the desk. And I'm like, excuse me, we wanted to print, and it's saying that we need to see the administrator for the code or whatever. I didn't really know. And it was a picture my son had drawn, and he wanted to print it out there at the library. And she comes up, and she goes, okay, no problem. Boom, boom, boom. She puts the code. All right. And then she explains something, and she goes, all right. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, thank you so much. And my son, and his version of thank you was to hug her. He just went to approach to give her a hug. This girl or lady, she was maybe in 22, 23 years old or something like that. She leaped back, like a jump back, like a whoa, you're touching me. Whoa, get your hands off me, my personal space. You know these people that don't know how to push it into context, if you know what I mean? I get it, you value personal space and boundaries, but can you put into context the innocence of who's doing it? You know what I mean? You can't get angry at a child for crossing your boundaries when it's a child that isn't actually crossing your boundaries. They're giving you a kind gesture, a very obvious, sweet gesture, I should say, but it's her reaction was if a grown-ass man was approaching to harass her, and that reaction was of a trauma victim, which is why I brought it up. The he-she thing to me was a trauma behavior that showed up from that. That reaction felt to me so overdrive, overkill, overdone. And then I just looked at her and I was like, ma'am, I apologize that your boundaries are crossed, but he meant nothing by it. He just wanted to thank you for helping us with the machine. He was happy. He was very excited that he was going to get to print his picture, and that was his way of trying to thank you. She's like, I know, it's okay, but, it's just... And I'm like, looking at her like the defense mechanism was beyond the... I don't know how to explain it. And maybe I'm insensitive here. Maybe I'm just, maybe that's old school. I don't know what the fuck. But to me, it felt very like people that follow trends just because it's become normalized. Like, that looked to me like a person that was overly validated on stupid shit. I know, that sounds mean. Because it has nothing to do with her, what terms she wants to use. It had nothing to do with that. But her behavior felt very programmed. Her behavior felt very, I'm just a cog in the wheel. I'm like one of those Sims, is that what they're called in the games? I don't remember the name of it, but you know what I mean. Those people that are like not really there. It's just like a energy signature that's right there in your face to show you certain spirits. Thank you, spirit. It's like a spirit, because I recently had another spirit similar to that one that was just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you need help. Like, come on, man. Like, can't you see things in context sometimes? Like, yes, I get this whole idea that you're trying to project or talk about or produce or pretend that this is who you are or whatever. I get where you stand on this. I respect your boundary. But boundaries, like, it's like rules that people make. There it is. People make these like rules, but then they don't know how to be flexible with them. They make rules that are like one and done. Like, they generalize all men this or all women that, or for example, all drugs are bad, or all of that race are like this. So even if you try to like help them, like you could never even try to help them through. Like, you could be like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, that's how I would be, but if it was somebody that I knew. But if it's somebody I don't even know and I see them, like, her reaction was almost, I don't want to say offensive, but yeah, like, she was offended. Like, she was offended by the, her boundary being crossed of this person coming to hug her, my personal space. Okay, yes, there's people that are sensitive, but who, like, not everyone knows this shit, right? Like, I just met you. Your reaction, like, if you're that weird about people, you shouldn't work in an environment with people, honestly. Like, people need to be a little more thick-skinned, to learn how to deal with others. Like all these accommodations and all these, like, oh, you're sensitive to noise. Okay, well, let's give you a silent room. Oh, you're sensitive to light. Okay, let's give you a dark room. And not to say that those things aren't necessary for certain things. It's the people that have attached themselves to identities for the entitlement of a benefit or of a certain treatment, and they can't get out of, like, that it's not, it doesn't have to be across the board all the time. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain myself. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on my soul. I think I'm making perfect darn sense. Like, people take it too far. That's it. Take it too far. Like, okay, you have this disability, but now it's like, once it becomes your identity, you want to be seen as this disability, to the point of being treated, or not necessarily a disability, a condition, a trauma. People identify with their traumas in such a way that it's like, Do you just want to be stuck in it, or do you actually like why are you identified with something that makes you weak? I don't get it. Why not say to yourself, I don't want to be identified to this weakness, this weak mind thought, or this weak feeling, or this weak idea. A sickness is a weak idea. Poverty is a weak idea. Ugliness is a weak idea. Anything like that. And it's like people identify with certain things and they become attached to becoming like, because they get a juice out of the negative energy that they get. Like let's say, like I love people that are optimistic when they're in it's like they focus on their strengths, not their weaknesses. That gives you so much, I guess you can call it leverage, or it gives you so much more, It gives you so much more. It's all. Just gives you more when you have a perspective that doesn't victimize you. So if you're victimizing yourself, you're identifying yourself as, you're behaving as a victim of anything. Your body language, your reactions, it's like, I understand the trauma affected you. But if I cater to that too much, how am I helping you? How do you help? It's like you can't make the world safe for everybody all the time. And sometimes you can make something so safe that the person never grows out of, and things that they shouldn't even be attached to, like for example, the only time I like, for example, my older children, I acknowledge, these new wave, like ADD is so normalized. Oh, ADD. To me personally, ADD is not even something, and you'll have some neurological blah 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 come and say something like, well, it's a neurological condition. Indeed it is. And yes, the neurons don't fire there and blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, yeah, let's reinforce that by acknowledging it and saying that it's something that can never change. Get the fuck out of here. No, you can change your whole fucking DNA. You can change your entire mind. You can change your whole body. You can change everything. And anybody that says that you can't is a freaking loser demon that has no vision at all. Because you have to believe in the perfection that you are. You were made perfect. Now granted, if you're born without a leg, sorry, I'm not laughing at the concept, I'm just saying, but like, there are some things in the physical matter, if you were born with a physical thing that actually impedes you from doing the normal human thing, you were born that way, then I would say, hopefully there's, things that can make it easier, better, and whatever. But if you were born that way, then you were born that way. You're not going to really, how do I put it? Like a person that was born mentally incapacitated, they're not going to consider, I'm going to change my mind, because they're not there in the first place to change that mind. I'm not talking about things like that. People, because people will debate and be like, oh, they generalize everything, so they can't see that, yes, I'm making this statement, but yes, there are certain little, caveats, I guess, whatever you call it, where you can't apply it in real time. But that's not the point. Is that there's if you don't even have the ability to see the possibility, then forget about it. You can't do it. You're never going to do it. You have to, and then if you have the possibility of, if you have the capacity to see the possibility, but then you don't act on how do I get from here to there, from where I'm at? How do I get closer to that reality, little by little? How do I become more a vibrational match to that reality? That's where the work is changing the habits that keep you where you are and applying the habits that put you where you want to be. So if your issue is a health issue, and you realize and you find out what is it that I need to adjust, what caused this in the first place, some kind of deficiency where, or some kind of impediment or whatever, blockage there. What can I use to strengthen this naturally? And what can I do to minimize what caused the problem in the first place? From that basic stance, you can change and shift your reality. You can change and shift your life. But you can't become you can't say, I'm not a victim, but react in victim ways. You can't say, I'm not a victim and think like a victim. You can't say, I'm not a victim and feel like a victim. When you create that dynamic, when you say that you're no longer a victim in life, it means you don't identify with they suppressed us. Who? Nobody in my life has suppressed me. So I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want nobody telling me that I'm a suppressed person. I don't want to hear about the fucking past, history, because I'm here now. And forget what happened. I'm here and now. Whatever blocks me here and now, me moving forward, me making my way, me going through the steps that I believe I'm supposed to take, I fight the battles as I go through it. I'm not standing there talking about what was done, and therefore I'm just going to sit here and talk shit about what they're doing or are going to do to me. At that point, I might as well just put myself in the grave. And most people kind of live from that fear. They never do anything or move anywhere or create anything or try anything. They mock it, they knock it before they even try it. And then those of us, I'll say us because the only people I'm talking to are the people that actually take action steps towards changing their own reality in some ways. It's not just wishful thinking. It's not just positive affirmations. It's actually setting yourself up to change from a perspective of who you think you are to a perspective that you claim you know you are. And when you claim that you know you are this, then you live that way. You begin the process of living that way. You're not going to live that way right away. All of that you thought you were has to fall away.
Too bad the Krusty Krab doesn't stay open this
Hold that thought. Thank you. So, all of that has to be removed before you can even take ownership of who you actually are. In order to take ownership of who you actually are, you don't have to prove that to anyone else. It's who you claim you are. If you say I'm this, then when you look in the mirror, you know you are that. There shouldn't be a doubt. There shouldn't be looking in that mirror and arguing with yourself about who you're not, who you think you are, who they think you are. The battle has never been about what others think. The battle has been about how much can you be sovereign in your own knowing of who you are, that you don't allow another person to drive you. They drive you with their opinions. They drive you with their demands. They drive you with their words. They drive you with their intentions, how can they use you if you allow it? You let yourself get used. And if you're using me in a beneficial way for me, then I'm going to be able to produce for you and me what I want to produce. But if you're using me in a way that only benefits you, I'm going to rebel against you, and you're not going to be able to use me anymore. So that's how I've always kind of been in life. It's like, I know I'm useful, I know I'm giving, I know I'm loving, I know I'm talented, I know I'm creative, I know I can do what I say I can do. I can be who I say I am. But it's not just in word, it's in thought. And when I know that I'm that, I can, when you speak from that space of there's no other person's voice in your head telling you otherwise. It's like you shut down all that is not you, that is not your own self, that is not who you are. You know what I mean? So it's like that world cannot define me. The world outside of me does not define me. But I claim who I am, and now I create that reality. That world no longer can influence me. That energy can no longer influence me. And that's all, folks. Suddenly, life has new meaning to me. All right. There's beauty. Okay, I don't want to sing that song right now. Lord Jesus. And I don't think I want to do these either. But do I? That's why I said suddenly. Suddenly I got tired, or suddenly I got bored. Am I bored, Lord? That's not boredom. It's inconceivable. I just saw dollar signs. Lots and lots of dollar signs. Why am I saying it like that? Okay, let's see. If you pick this one, wait, maybe I should show them first, right? Blue. This is well, if I tell you what they are, I don't want to influence your choices. I want it to be more of a random message. Do I really want to do this? Oh my God, what's wrong with me right now, Spirit? Truly, what is this? What is this? Move it. Let me see something real quick, folks. Oh. Get out of your head. Focus on the pain of loss of love. And the betrayal of love. And the deceit. A King of Wands in reverse. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius in reverse. Lied. Betrayed. In love. Disappointment and sorrow. Letting go of the worry of this magician that tried to put you in sorrow, remove you from love, betray you, lie to you. A King of Wands in reverse. Or put you in the King of Wands in reverse, make you not desire anything, make you not stand on your passion, like be passionate about life. Breadcrumbing, removing your happiness, keeping you from your friends, creating conflict, and depression. But guess what, dear? As the high priestess, you can see right through this energy. This is not personal. FYI, this is not personal. You know why? Because the damn people that were vessels for this demon energy, they know exactly who they are. But they might be so damn dense that they don't know what they did in reality. They don't see behind the mask. And maybe they do. But they focus on they focus on it from a negative perspective. Because their interpretation, remember, when someone sees behind your mask, they're only seeing the energy that they feel off of you. But they're receiving energy that they receive off of you, but how they're interpreting the energy is on them. And until they're able to address you to clarify what they perceive, they don't get a factual hit. They get what's considered only an assumption. And that's where these cult individuals come in and create all this chaos to keep you in that doubtful. As long as you never get the validation from these toxic, karmic, cultish type of folks, people that congregate with one another to like dismantle your truth in some ways, whether they're doing it consciously, whether they're doing it in spirit, whether they're lining up as teams in the ethers, unconscious to their own minds. And that's me giving them credit, FYI, that they're not conscious to this. I think people are more like, remember what I said, proof of life. The person that is out to lie and cheat you and manipulate you and play mind games with you will give off the illusion of ignorance and that they're not present, because they want to ignore you. They want to pretend that you are non-existent. That's their quote-unquote punishment, right? Deny your existence. Deny your existence in hopes that you do what they do and live inside your head for the rest of your life. And live inside a world of wishing you could live and never really live. Because that's how they operate. They don't actually live life. They live vicariously through others. But if you've lived life and you choose to chill and hermitize and reflect and take time alone and enjoy the simple things in life or the peaceful natures of your environment, wherever you have them and find them, if you choose to do that, they'll create narratives that make it look only from the perspective that that's how they are. To them, your life would equal death, meaning they couldn't live in the solitude, in the silence. They couldn't live in the peacefulness. They couldn't live in the abundance of nature. By that I mean outside of the societal norms and material world in that way, right? So these people couldn't survive in that. So for them, when they see you in this vibe of being, content with what to them seems lifeless living, because you're not out there killing it. How do they say, crushing it? Going after the big corporations and creating that pretentious life that states, look at me, I'm somebody. Oh wow, I'm somebody. I am boop, insert title there. Now, yes, we all need that ego part of us in some ways to move through this world, because a material world requires, for you to remember, as a spiritual being, you don't knock the material world. It's just not part of your true, you know what I mean? Reality. That's a that's a result of what spiritually is occurring. So your lack of love, your lack of attention, your lack of effort, your lack of giving to yourself, the lack of others neglecting or denying you, could create a reality that looks, if you accept that is your reality, that if you accept that those things define you, and you accept how they see you, then you would probably be done. You would probably allow yourself to be done. Because when I say the spiritual war, if you don't address it out loud, and make a determined action to accept their truth as it comes the first time, then you subject yourself to a spiritual prison that creates an external reality that feels like one, or that actually could be one. In other words, keep yourself out of dynamics that are inconsistent with you. That if you address something, you're uneasy about something with someone, and you address it, don't waste too much time trying to get the validation from them that, oh no, everything's normal, everything's okay, everything's good. No, don't waste too much time on that. Address it once. Get the answer you need. Because if somebody asks me right now, what's wrong? You tell me what your problem with me is. If you told me what your problem with me is, I feel that blah, 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 you this, you that. I think that blah, 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 you this, you that. I'll say, first of all, you think. That doesn't mean that's a fact. That's a thought you're having about me. Now let me tell you what I actually said, or what I actually did, or what I actually am. Boom. If you want to still think that, that's on you. I already told you. If I didn't convince you, I'm not here for that either. If you tell me I feel this, I feel that, well, yeah, you feel this and you feel that. But that's not a fact. That's just how you feel. So who I am, or how I treated you, meant this to me, meant that to me. This is what I actually felt, or this is what I actually said, or what I actually did. From my perspective, you can deny it. You can say, nope, not true. And all I can say is, okay then. That's how you feel about it. I'm not going to change your mind about it. That's not how I feel about it. But if that's how you feel about it, then fine. I have to accept that. What I cannot do is allow you to dictate who I am, allow you to tell me that how you felt based on how I acted, or what I said, or what you think I meant by it. I cannot live with, I will not live with what you think of me. Because I will never then be myself if I have to constantly prove myself not to be who you say I am. That's so retarded. But that's all. I think that's all. I think I said what I had to say, didn't I? Is there anything more, folks? I said I was going to do this reading, but I don't... Let's see. Was there anything else, first of all, to discuss here? Evidently, no. Wait, yes. No. Let's talk about this real quick. If you find out that someone has been using strategies in romance to get you, look at it as a compliment. And if their strategies temporarily worked, then you know what? Congratulations. That's all you have to say. It's okay, congratulations. Your strategies worked until they didn't. And lesson learned. But at least you see them for who they are now. And that's all that matters, because all you need is to realize who someone is based on what they show you. And that's that. It's like you can't justify or make meaning out of nothing either. So, but look at it this way. Somebody used strategy to get you, and their intentions were to play you, or their intentions were to manipulate, or their intentions were to, somehow, some way use you to their advantage, with no intention of considering you, no intention of actually caring about you, and they manipulated by pretending to care about you just for whatever reason. Look at that as a wonderful wonderful lesson learned, because anyone that puts you on high alert spiritually does you a service. So bless it, grace it, thank the universe. I am grateful to every bastard that crossed my path. They only made me more wiser. They only made me more aware. They only made me more powerful in my discernment. And with that, I say no problem, mon amour, no problem. Let me stop being me. I'm kidding. No, but no problem, for real, no problem. It's cute. 'Tis funny. Should I? Shouldn't I? All right. Here we have el people, el diablo, el people. Let me stop. Let me put them here because I think they're more visible, like this and like that. Oui. But let's put them where they go. Why do they go here? I'll tell you why. If you chose this one, this is the reading for air signs. This is fire signs. This is water signs. And this is earth signs. Don't mind me. There. Water, fire, air, and earth. Let's pull one for each. Air. Oh, air gets 2. Fire, earth, and water. Air. You could be dealing with a Scorpio or with 10th house authority. Scorpio in the 10th house, or you could be dealing with a Scorpio in maybe a Scorpio's your boss in some way, or maybe a Scorpio is an authority when it comes to your status, How so, sir? Madam. Investigate the authority over you at this point. People could be very sneaky, air signs. Investigate the authority when it comes to your status, or when it comes to the things that you possess, desire, are attached to. Could be a karmic relationship there, air sign. I'll leave it at that. Fuego. Fire signs. The sun. Ha 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 ha. Feeling happy, fire signs. Feeling happy. Why? Should we pull a second one for them? No, we don't have to. Happy. Passionate. Energized. You feel a lot of emotional energy, a lot of your values are rising. The things that you value have more power, meaning like you've empowered yourself via the things that you value more. So there's more energy, more source of life in the things that you value, things that you have a connection to emotionally, the things that you are attached to emotionally as well. Could be your children, could be your creativity, could be dealing with just matters of love. A wide spectrum of loving emotions. Love, even tragedies and the painful moments can be filled with like a essence of love behind it. When you truly embrace the wholeness of life, you can look at those darker moments with always, of course, when you come out of it, you can look back on them and say, wow, that's amazing that I survived that. I lived through that. I experienced that. I escaped that. I managed to overcome that. I managed to grow from that. I changed from that. I think there's a lot of appreciation for how full your heart is, fire sign. Okay, who is next? Earth signs. Transits. Climate. Oh, we have two cards here. We have dining room and dining room and candlestick. All right, earth signs. So we have a very passionate relationship. You might be going through changes, climate changes. Maybe you were feeling really cold about partnerships and love, and now you're getting really hot about it, like really passionate about it. Maybe you were more private about your relationships, your partnerships, and now you're being more open about them. You're exposing your relationships a little bit more, or you're being more open about the dynamics in your life. That's possible. You may be very much loving the idea of having a relationship. But again, like I said, it's a transit, it's a climate change. Maybe it's just a passing thought for you, or just a passing feeling. I'm getting more like a passing feeling, a consideration. Maybe you're just considering, do I want to be alone? Do I want to be with somebody? But there's definitely a climate change. Something is changing, like your how you feel when it comes to love or children or your creativity, the things you're passionate about. When it comes to that and partnership, merging those two or having those two things how do you transit through the changes that come from that? When things kind of shift from negative to positive or from positive to negative, when things grow, when they rescind, what's the word? Whatever, you know what I mean. Retract, rescind. That word. I don't really use that word, but okay. What's a science? What a science. Retrograde and review. What are you reviewing? What a science. What now? What now? Oh, you got 2 cards again. Are you reviewing? Oh, home and work. Home and work. And they're both looking like you're really contemplating. It's like a balancing. Maybe you need to balance home and work matters. You need to change home and work matters. One or the other is in conflict. Or there's a conflict with home matters and work matters. Like, for example, I'll give you a great example. This was a conflict I experienced. I had a choice to deploy for 6 months right after I had my daughter. Like, literally right after, like within the week. You can deploy and you'll get that promotion to a first class petty officer at the time. You'll do your 6 months and that's it. You're good to go. You're gold. Like, in other words, you wouldn't have to deploy again for another term, and you get the promotion that sets you up for, like, that would have set me up for a good while. But I just had my daughter, and I had a baby at home already. I had a 2-year-old when my daughter was born. I was not about to leave my children and my ex-husband, my husband at the time. I wasn't going to leave them. Like, for me, there was like no question. There was no question about it. I couldn't do it. Like, how can you ask a mother to not be there the first 6 months of her daughter's life? But do you know how many women take that and be like, I have to do what I have to do. It's the best thing for us. And yeah, it's a major sacrifice, and I'm not saying that's a wrong choice. No, everybody has to make the right choice for them. For me, the choice was either, because I was at the verge of completing my first 4-year term, and I was about to, if I deployed, I would basically be saying I'm re-enlisting for another 4 years. I'm getting that promotion, and I'm deploying for 6 months right after having my child. That's what I would have been signing up for. Leaving my child, getting a promotion, and signing up for another 4 years. Versus, you're done with being active here. You get to start your new life in your new in your hometown. You get to go back home. You're done with your commitment to us here, and you can go do your life. And I chose to go do my life. Was that the best choice? Looking back now. Well, Lord. I don't know. Now, let me stop playing. Of course it was the right choice for me. I would still say 100% it was always the right choice for me. Because I would have probably regretted every day up to this point had I not been part of those first 6 months of my daughter's life. I would have felt a sense of guilt that I don't know that I could have shaken off. Because you can't get it back once it's gone. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go back and say, let me go relive those 6 months that I missed out on. You can't do it. And I didn't want to risk it. I don't want to risk doing that. And whatever would have turned out from that, there was always going to be that sense of, I missed that part. That would have felt like, I don't know if it's just me or if it's just a woman thing or if it's just a like I said, just a me thing or a woman thing or a human thing, just a people thing in general. But, you know, like when, let's say back in the day when we used to write in school, like I would start writing and my handwriting would be great, perfect. And I'm like happy, happy, happy. Everything is perfect, perfect, perfect. All of a sudden, one tiny little mistake. That one tiny little mistake, and I would erase it, and if it looked messed up, if it looked unpretty, it was crumble it all up and redo it again. Something like that could be fixed pretty simple, but the tarnishing, it was tarnished in my mind. It was tarnished. And that's the same way in like relationships. It's like once you do that first disrespect, if you disrespect me with your words, how long before you disrespect me with your actions? It's not far from it. You know, they go hand in hand. You do it once, it's very likely you're gonna do it again. But what happens is, it's like you have like a threshold of tolerances, and that threshold of tolerance is like, okay, I'll allow this, I'll allow that, I'll let that one go, I'll let that slide, I'll let that slide, I'll let that slide, let that slide, let that slide, let that slide. No, eventually it's too much where you have to surrender. You have to let go and be like, forget it, I can't do this. It's not worth doing it. Meaning, obviously, it's no longer like when you're thinking, oh, it's just a pattern, and you know it takes time to undo a pattern. Like somebody that lies, it's like, stop lying. Can you just be honest? Okay, fine, I'll be honest. It's so hard to be honest, you know. It's so hard to tell the truth. So, oops, I lied again. I'm sorry. Oh, damn, did I lie again? My bad. I didn't know I was lying. Shit, you know? I almost didn't lie, but I had to. And I forgot that I lied. I wasn't supposed to lie, but I lied. Okay, fine. Like, imagine, that's what it's like dealing with people like this. You're thinking like, oh, I'm one little disrespect, one little thing is going to change it. Eventually, they're not going to fix anything. So what I'm saying is this dynamic, I don't know how I went from this to that. I was referring to the dynamics of work and home. In my case, I gave the example. Do you take that sacrifice and go do that thing that's going to take you away from the thing you might be attached to, that might be, you know, your value matters in terms of like, this is what I value, this is what I want to, I rather do this because this is more important to me, or this is more sacred to me, or this is more beneficial in the long run. Like, you got to be realistic too. Maybe, possibly, had my ex-husband at the time said to me, you know, hun, I promise I'll take really great care of the kids and go with confidence. I'll send you videos every day like I did when he deployed. Constant, you know, like the day-to-day, like keep me attached to that, to the upbringing, so that I can be part of it. Even if I'm distant, I'm still feeling like I'm attached, and that there's the connection is still there. The constant hearing of my voice, or the constant, you know, to nurture the child indirectly for me, with me. That would have probably been like, I probably would have been like, you know what? It's doable. It's possible. And in the long run, it'll be a great benefit for the family. I probably would have considered that had it been an easier choice, had it been a less unsafe choice. And I guess maybe that's what the whole point of this, you're retrograding, reviewing, looking at, you know, did I make the right choice perhaps? Or maybe you need to review, I have a choice between this job or this home, or I need to move out of this home because it's affecting my job. I can give one more example, job and home issues. being a single parent requires you to miss out on work sometimes, more than usual, more than you probably would if you didn't have children. And in my case, I had at the time 2 small children. As a single parent was a challenge at my profession, because I was expected to be there at a certain time. I was expected to follow up on my appointments and do what I had to do. So if I can't commit to them as I signed off and said, yes, I can commit to this schedule, I can commit to doing this, but the work front isn't flexible either, because yes, I am willing to commit, but I do have these responsibilities that I don't have the support system to sustain me, in terms of like, if my children's school calls and says my kids are sick and I have to go home and pick them up, this isn't a choice. This reminds me of The Handmaid's Tale. It's not a choice. It's like, who the hell else is going to get them if there's nobody else that can do that job for me? I don't have that kind of support. So I'm going to have to tell my boss, hey, I need to go do this. And then I can accommodate. I'll come right back, or I'll try to make my kids get better as soon as possible. Kids, do not sneeze at school. Don't you dare sneeze. Hold that bitch in until you get away from the teachers, so that they don't call me for a damn sneeze. Because that's how little it takes to get your kid to be sent home, and it's not practical. It doesn't make sense that I have to take care of my kids and bring them home for a sneeze because they're afraid that they're going to get all the other kids, to sneeze. And I get it. It makes sense. All right, I'll let them stay home. But there's nobody to watch them at home, so I have to be home with them. I don't mind doing that. But my job has to understand that that's what I have to do. And that's where the problem is. The job doesn't want to understand that. And yes, they're more flexible now. Now there's more flexibility. People work from home and all this other stuff. And, the work-life balance thing is working out. But maybe those are issues that need to be brought up. Maybe you need to bring up those issues. Maybe there needs to be... corporations need to ensure that daycare is available right at the corporation. Like, have a daycare system in the first floor, and you work on the 5th building. But every corporation should have their own freaking daycare, because single moms and single dads are very valuable also. Maybe their relationships don't allow them to have the assistance that they need at home, but that doesn't make them unvaluable in the workplace, because you deem them unreliable because they have actual responsibilities in their own home that supersede the responsibilities you want them to have in this corporation, when you can replace the worker for the day for me at that corporation. But my children, their well-being cannot be replaced if I left them home and something happened to them, because I need to cater to this job. So those are just examples. Little examples. What's her sign? Damn, I went into the water sign. I didn't want to do all that, Lord. I guess I did. Well, I guess that's all. Did I say what I had to say? I don't know. It's like, am I feeling the codependent spirit? Lord have mercy. Maybe I am. Because it's like, I want to let go, but I can't let go. And it's like, go. I don't really want to let go. It's just that sometimes spirit is like, boom, 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 boom. Let's go, girl. Talk. And I can't shut it down if I wanted to. Now it's like, no, baby, sit there and wait. We'll talk to you in little spurs. But why, spirit? Why are you playing with me like this today? Why are you making me feel like you don't want to talk to me today? Why does it feel like you don't want to talk to me today? Somebody's saying that. Who's saying that? Who is saying that to whom? A fire sign? Leo, Sag, or Aries could be saying that. There's a tower moment, folks. Oh, fuckery fucks. Lord Jesus, I don't want no more tower moments in my life. Please, Lord Jesus, don't give us any more tower moments. You know what tower moments are like? Let's talk about tower moments. fucking tower moments. Tower moments are them shocking moments that take you off balance. Oh yeah, you remember we were talking about those manipulative bastards? The ones that play these games, these seduction games, to get you all vulnerable and being like all sweet and loving, and then the moment that you're like your guard is a little down, whoop-pa, they go in on you. They do something really reckless, and it's easy to do that shit online because you can't really confront them. You can't really like, excuse me, what was that? No, because they're so cowardly that what they do is and this is not just men. This has been done by women as well to me. They'll actually DM me and start up a friendly conversation. And I'm just like, okay, let's have this friendly conversation. What do you want? Why are you in my DM? What do you need from me right now? Like, are you needing me to do a reading for you? Are you needing consultation from me? Or are you proposing a collaboration of some kind? Because that's the only reason I am on the internet. So if you find me on the internet and you're DMing me, man or woman, why are men and women coming on my DMs proposing shit of a personal nature, sexual nature, trying to like establish some kind of a relationship? It's like, but then it's indirect. It's like, oh, just want to talk, just want to be friendly. For fucking what? Like, what the hell's wrong with people? You really think that I'm going to entertain you? Like, I might entertain it temporarily just to see, like, the curiosity. You know, the curiosity always kills the cat, doesn't it? But yeah, you know, you gotta go through some shit sometimes. You gotta like explore and test your own, like, how far down the rabbit hole do I dare to go just for fuck's sake? Just for the sake of discovering what's behind door number 1. Why do I care to know what's behind door number 1? Like, because you want to know what the motive is. You want to know why. Why do you harass me online? Why all of a sudden these patterns? And then you realize, oh, it's part of So yes, imagine that you were just being prepared, that there was grace placed upon you, and that you were put through some trials and tribulations that were not of your own making, but they were created to test your wits, to test your ability to discern, to test your ability to trust in your knowing without the validation of anyone. And that's the best gift that the internet has provided me. So I hope you take that with a grain of salt, folks. Meaning, if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. Because yeah, I mean, I do my readings, and sometimes I let my ego get in the way. And I'll be honest. When I feel very spiritually connected, I speak from that conviction. When I feel more egocentric, I let you know that too, because this is for entertainment purposes only. I must say that, so that, you know, the Karens of the world don't take offense to the things I said, or how I said them, or who I addressed, or what I addressed, because apparently we have a very sensitive world sometimes. And maybe it's just cancer season, so I'm just picking up on some of that, because honestly these sensitivities are not affecting at this time. So I'm telling you this just for yourself. Like, you might be like, hey man, I haven't felt anything, you know, no towers, nothing negative is happening, like everything feels copacetic. Is that the way you say it? Copacetic. Everything's just fine. Mm-hmm. Of course, it's summertime. Let's just sit back and unwind. Alright, so yeah, let's just sit back and unwind. You might not be feeling these vibes. I'm not feeling these vibes. Oh, hold that thought. I must. Ah! Where'd you go, folk? Come back. Come back. Come back. That was Jack. Kate Winslet in the Titanic. Come back. Come back. Who's asking him to come back? Who's asking? Wait. I have to do this. Right? Perfect. Merci beaucoup. One more. Yeah. Okay. Yes. People that say yas. Yas. Oh. Too cute. Alright. Ooh, why did I suddenly? No, this isn't about life having no meaning to me again. Suddenly, I just felt a headache. Oh my lordy, that felt good. Ooh. Thank you. Alright, that's all. Am I done? I believe I am. I know. I could keep going for real, but no. Let me stop. Yeah? I spoke as much as I can speak, folks. Good night. Love you so much. Good night.